It's not happy Monday morning to you. It's not even happy Tuesday morning. It is happy early Tuesday afternoon. It is about 12:45 on Tuesday, and I'm finally getting around to sitting down to go over a few little things with you on this week's lesson prep. I would like to apologize for not getting out yesterday, but at the same time, I could not help it. I was sick, and I stayed home all day, and I apologize for being sick, but there was really nothing I could do about it. All right, so here we are. We're all better, and we're looking at Psalm number 90 this week. I hope you are enjoying this series on the Psalms. I know I am. I'm really getting a lot out of it. It's a blessing to study it all week. It's a blessing to be able to teach it, and Psalm 90 is no exception. Now, what I've done for you right underneath is a little bit what I did for you last week. If you want to download it in either PDF or Word format, I simply took the headings out of the book and put them into an outline form, and you can print those off. You can fill in your own blanks. You can, if you want to do the Word format of that, you can insert your own things there. Really, there's not a ton on here that is not in the book. But I will show you what I have done. Again, it's another exceptional chapter in our book of really learning how to just exposit the scriptures, phrase by phrase, word by word, verse by verse. And I took one little part out of this and rearranged it. So let me share with you what I did. You can see at the top this week, I sort of have an idea. Just even after a cursory reading of the material of what I want the big idea to be. And right now, as of Tuesday at 12:45, my big idea is live with eternity in mind. That's the one thing. You could call it your title if you want to. I would have it on the board. I would. This is the one point that I'm going to come back to and drill throughout the lesson. The idea that the overarching theme of this lesson is that we are to live with eternity in mind. And of course, that's a tremendous challenge in the world that we live in today. On the introduction, I gave you 2 or 3 ideas. I'm not sure which one I'm going to. I think I'm leaning toward number 3. I just haven't figured out how to flesh it all out at this point. But here's the ideas. Number 1 idea is to use the quote that's at the beginning of the chapter. Man, I'm going to use this quote in the lesson. Just not sure exactly where. All that is temporal is ultimately trivial. What is truly important in the present is that which will be important 10,000 years from today. That is a powerful, powerful quote. You could have that quote on the board, that when they come in, they're looking at it. You're saying to them, "Hey, what do you think about this?" You could lead a discussion about that. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why? Why not? Just some discussion to get them thinking and get the juices flowing a little bit. Idea number 2 would come right out of here. They give you at the very first page here the prayer of Moses, the man of God, according to the title of the psalm. And you look up these different references to the man of God and make the point here that they make for you here on page 64. That's another good idea. The idea number 3, when I'm thinking of living, the challenges of living with eternity in mind, I think that we know that is true, but we get caught with the here and now. I really struggle with this in my personal life. We all tend to be so busy, and we think of ourselves as busy. And you can see what I put on the handout here. We're busy, but what are we busy about? You might even have I'm just thinking out loud here, a good discussion on, how much of what you did yesterday, or I wouldn't go any further back than maybe the week, but how much did you do that will make a difference 10,000 years from now? How much time of your week did you invest in eternal matters versus the matters of the here and now that are temporal in nature and will not endure? And then you could refer to that quote, obviously. But I think having people in Sunday school slow down and think about, yes, we're busy people, but is it possible that in our busyness that we are crowding out the things that are most important? I've often thought that one of Satan's most prosperous plans and deceitfulness that he has fooled us all into thinking was that we have to be busy. We almost look at people that are not busy as something's not right. Or sometimes when we're not busy, we think we're not important. But I think sometimes we're so busy doing important things, but not necessarily doing the most important things. Doing things that are urgent, but not really, really important in light of eternity. So I'm just going to I want them to feel that tension in their minds and in their hearts as we kick off this psalm and this study of the psalm. Now you can see the outline. I took it straight out. Now what I did do differently, you'll notice point 1, verses 1 through 2, point 2, 3 through 6. Well, actually it's 3 through 9. That's misprint, 3 through 9. And what I did was I took out the section that is titled Man's Challenge, verses 10 through 12. I put that down in the application. So my outline's only going to have 3 points. God is eternal, man is temporal, prayer is essential. I think that flows well. And then I think verse 12, especially the end of verse 12, is the phrase, teach us to number our days, which is really the big idea of this lesson and is really the application of this lesson. How do we do that in a real, intangible way? So I gave you some application questions that you could be discussing and thinking through. How do we do this? I mean, it's easy to say, how do we number our days? How do we do this? How do we determine which things are important and not important? I think of young people, anybody working, obviously your boss is going to say certain things are important that you might not think are eternally important. How do we juggle that? How do we learn to say no to the things that rob us of time? How do we say no? We want to be involved in everything. We want to go everywhere. We don't want to miss anything. But at the same time, some of the best things we can do is simply say no and rest and relax with those that we love, or do things that are more important, spending time in God's Word, being a faithful witness, being more faithful in church, those type of things. And then, the specific to do there, what is one thing you can do this week to live with eternity in mind? I thought of an illustration. I can't remember who said this. I'm sure it was in one of Pastor's series. But, I think they took their age and then they took, the average lifespan. So let's say, I don't know what that is now, but let's say it's 75 or 80, whatever. Or you can take whatever you want. Take 80 for an example. And then what they did was they counted the number of weeks left in their life between how old they are now and being 80 years old or 75 years old, whatever number you wanted to pick there. And then they bought that many marbles and put them in a jar in a prominent place in their home, and every week they took a marble out. Every week it was a tangible reminder that this week is gone. This week I can't go back and recapture the time. That could be a wonderful, you're trying to think, how do I live with eternity in mind? It may be memorizing that verse, Psalm 90 verse 12. But you want them to think like that. You want them to think in terms of, what changes can I make to make the most out of this spiritual principle of living with eternity in mind, and what does that look like in my life today? So I hope that helps you. It's not a ton of information there. I'm just now getting started on it myself, and again, I apologize for the delay. We've got our normal schedule Wednesday night. Got several things here. I've already started making a list of things that I want to talk to you about. I really want you to be there, and we'll be in the same place, same time, 6:15, and I'm really looking forward to our time together. If there's anything at all I can do for you this week, do not hesitate to let me know, and hopefully I'll be here ready to go, working hard for you. Okay? Have a great week. Take care. God bless you, and I will see you very, very soon.